Good afternoon and welcome to Trib Talk. I'm Kathy Stephenson, and today we're talking about the Utah health order that bans alcohol service at bars and restaurants at 10 a.m. After operating under the order for more than 4 weeks, many bars that have been profitable local establishments say they are on the verge of going out of business. Last week, the group of owners sent a letter to Governor Herbert asking him to lift the restrictions. Joining us today to talk about the letter and the state of bars in Utah is Kirk Bengtzen, owner of Twist Bar Bistro in Salt Lake City. Welcome, Kirk.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And we have Dave Morris, owner of Piper Down and HandleBar in Salt Lake. Thanks for being here, Dave.
Thanks. Piper Down, HandleBar, Ice House, Funk Dive.
I know, I didn't have enough. I know, it's like this long list. Is there a bar you don't own, right?
Well, pretty soon he'll probably own me too, so that's all right. He's a great operator and a good bar owner. So,
well, hey, let's maybe just start like with a status report of what has been happening at each of your bars since that 10 p.m. ban went into effect. I don't know. Kirk, you want to start? What's happening at Twist?
I think that I speak for probably the majority of the bars where we've just been absolutely, pretty much shut down. In our great state of Utah, I know that a lot of people think that maybe a lot of people don't drink, but surprisingly they do. And even if they don't drink, they like coming into our places for our great food that we offer and the great atmosphere and so on and so forth. But the majority of them show up between 9:30 and 10:30, and the majority of our business is done between 10 p.m. and 1 a.m. So this is crushed, absolutely crushed our businesses. Our employees can't get shifts because we can't afford to keep them on. I mean, literally, we're in there working ourselves instead of bringing in people because we can't afford to pay them when we're not even making a 20th of what we would even during the pandemic before this 10 o'clock ban on alcohol. It's just very, very devastating.
Dave, what about you? Like, you've got several bars, so what are you seeing?
Yeah, I mean, and my bar is a little bit different than Twist. We're more neighborhoody. I mean, most of them, they're kind of neighborhoody and really food focused. And Kurt was talking about from last year versus this year, and then last month versus this month. It's like we're diving. We went when we opened back up. Surprisingly, we had a lot of support. People were going out and. But we didn't really have a lunch business like where we used to, get people. Well, now people are working from home, so they're not coming out for lunch. And we're like, well, that's okay. We still have our nighttime business. So people are, getting their work done and then going out for dinner or late night or late night eaters. But then that went away. So now all we have is like that time that anywhere else you'd call happy hour. Crap, happy hour is illegal here too. So,
so it really, I mean, it's really taken away your ability to,
We're just wiped out. I mean, from last year to this year, we're down, 50, 60%, somewhere in the middle. It's kind of close to being cut in half most of the time. And then from last month to this month, that's chopped in half again. And I've got bartenders and cocktail servers, like they're still coming to work and they're just not doing anything. Like people are walking up to the front door at 9:45 still. And we're like, hey, we close at 10. I'm sorry. Like, and it doesn't make any sense to just keep the kitchen open. It makes no sense.
That's kind of what they said. Well, you can still serve food after 10 o'clock, but that doesn't really make sense for a bar.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, and the way the bars price their food, the food is a draw at a bar to get people to come in and have drinks. your markup on food is next to nothing compared to the markup that we get on alcohol and beer. So, and then it's the higher tickets are what the servers get paid on, because they're getting 20 or 30% of the higher ticket. So it's not just coming in and, oh, great, we sold some burgers and fries and turning tables. Like, we don't have the table turn at 10 o'clock. It's people come in and, run up $100 tab. That's stay in business. And then the other really crazy thing, and maybe I'm venting a little bit, but I have 150 plus employees who don't know Tuesday if they're working or not. Like, they don't know. Like, this schedule was dropped on us. The restrictions were dropped on us the day before.
Right.
Like, how about a week? Like I employ moms and dads and students, and people have to work out their kid situation and their other jobs and stuff like that, and just drop this thing like, oh, you're not going to work after 10, or you're not. We don't need you on the shift at all, or we're cutting down shifts. I mean, there's a lot of mechanics that go into just shutting off a tent. And my karaoke DJ, oh yeah, we don't need you anymore, and the bands and it goes on and on and on. That just drop of a hat. Why did it have to be tomorrow? Why couldn't it have been in 7 days? And we've been shut down for a month now, and numbers. This wasn't the silver bullet that they're looking for. Numbers are still going up, and the people are leaving our places at 10 o'clock, and they're not going home and going to bed. They're going out. Like, I listen to them when they're walking out the door. Hey, where are we going to go? Oh, let's stop at Maverick and grab a 24 pack and go over to my house where there's no sanitation. There's
no masks, no social distancing. Yeah.
And I mean, we operate the same way at 11 p.m. that we do at 6:30 p.m. We don't shove the tables together and,
well, that's one of the
they
things.
Can take their masks off at 10.
That was one of the things in the letter, right? I would say that was one of the things in the letter.
If we're not safe at 11 p.m., if we're not safe at 11 p.m., we're not safe at 6.
Because you already have regulations you had to follow. Kirk, you kind of talked about that in the letter, right? You already have to follow CDC rules, right? I mean, they're strict. You have distancing and masks and sanitation, and why is that not enough for the state?
And that's the crazy part is, and there's some bars. Dave and I aren't dumb to think that there's some bars that are really not adhering to what they should be doing. However, the good majority of us are doing the right thing. Okay, and we're not only are we adhering 100% to what the CDC has given us as guidelines in order to open back up after the mandate, or risk a huge fine or a closure. I mean, these are serious things. But people like Dave, like Green Pig, like my bar, and some of these other really good people out there that are trying to stay open and trying to be a good part of the community and helping with this pandemic. We've taken it a step further. We're taking temperatures, which isn't required by the CDC. We're ensuring that there's multiple hand sanitizer stations and doing different things that are clearly not mandated for us to stay open, but we do it. And so again, we have the safest. Dave was just saying this. We have the safest place for people to go drink and have a good time than anywhere else. I mean, now what's happening, and this is the crazy thing, and Dave, I don't know if you've heard about this, but there's a couple of places downtown that are like abandoned, or they're not open right now. And people are renting these spaces, charging $100 a head, and bringing in a bunch of people. No masks required, no social distancing required, no hand sanitizers. None of that is happening. And they're jamming it and making a ton of money because we're closed. And that's what's happening. There's multiple things that have gone on here. First of all, our numbers have not gone down. They've gone up. since the mandate went in place in November 8th. They've gone up. Okay. So no and if buts about it. This clearly isn't working. The second thing is, I don't know if you saw the numbers today, but our unemployment went up this last week that they had by 35%. Guess what? Where do you think that 35% came from? The hospitality workers, the Governor Herbert and the CDC is saying, hey, screw you guys, because we're going to do this. And that's just the way it is. And then 3 weeks of us begging for a conversation with these guys, and they will not even respond to us. They won't respond to the media. They won't respond to me. I've called or emailed every other day for over 3 weeks and have yet to get a response. This is ridiculous. Sorry, can you tell I'm a little weird?
That was my question. Did the letter do anything good, right? Did you hear? You haven't heard anything from the governor or his office or?
No. So after he extended the mandate for, what was it, 8 days, it was some weird random number to the 17th. So it was like, it wasn't a week, it wasn't 2 weeks. It was, I don't know, maybe it was convenient for his schedule so that he could hurry and have a press conference and do what he does and then get out of town, because, you know, right now he's a lame duck, right? I mean, he's not, it clearly doesn't care about getting reelected or anything else like that. So maybe that's why he's not responding. So what we did is we actually filed a lawsuit on behalf of many bars this morning at 10. It was filed at like 10. Well, we started at 10:30, but there was so many bars involved. It took us until probably about 10:50 before it was officially filed. And, you know, clearly he doesn't want to have a conversation as a good governor or a good person. So now we're going to sue the state of Utah and see if maybe we can get some response. The biggest thing is, if Dave, me, and all these other people that try to do the right thing and are great employers and have great teams that work with us, if we're going to have to put them out of shut down and do this, if they really believe that's the right thing to do, fine, we'll do it. But use some of that $300 million that's up there that came from the federal government and help us compensate us for our losses and our team members. And the team members are the most important things. Dave and I will make it through it. We'll be fine. It's the moms and dads that Dave was talking about that are sitting there going, okay, I haven't worked for over a month now. I've got Christmas coming up. I got car payments coming up. I got rent coming up. What do I do? And that's the key right now.
So are you looking for more in the lawsuit? Are you looking for more money for employees then? Like maybe an unemployment benefit? What kind of are you looking for?
So the lawsuit, we didn't ask for any money. We asked for the mandate to end. Okay. I believe that the next step would be to go back and ask for some compensation. But right now, if we can just get it to end and let us be the safe place that the CDC had already approved us to be, then we can get back to business and we can get some money flowing back to our to the hospitality workers.
So, Dave, if the CARES money was allocated to the hospitality industry, where would you put it? What would you do with some CARES money? What do you think is the best thing to do with it?
We've come up with some really good ideas. I personally feel the best use of that money would be let us use a shift differential. Let me pay each one of my tipped employees an extra $200 per shift that they show up and work. Not $600 to stay home.
Yeah.
But these people.
Amen.
Supplement. I mean, it's like kind of like the PPP loan. You supplement somebody's income while they're working, right?
Well, and while they're working. So we don't want them to leave. I don't want to have to rebuild my staff when this 10 p.m. thing is lifted. I want my staff and I want them taken care of. It's just really not fair to them that they're coming to work like they're supposed to on their schedule and their shift is cut 3 hours short. So that's the time that they'd make that money.
Yeah.
So they're basically making minimum wage for 3 hours less.
Yeah.
I mean, because you got to pay them, you have to pay them at least minimum wage if they're not making it.
Yeah.
And 5 hours a day at minimum wage, it's not enough. And I don't have the extra money to pay the shift differential, but know there's, in fact, I read an article in the Tribune last week about where the CARES money was going. That the state said that, oh, no, we already have it spent. In fact, there's millions and millions of dollars being spent putting up cell phone towers along I-70 corridor. I read that in the Trib. I'm like, how does that fight COVID? How does that help families get through this time? A cell phone tower on I-70 so you don't drop your call on your way to Moab or something?
It's not really benefiting people.
They're gonna right. So I think if they would, like Kirk was saying, if they would just have a conversation with us, we're in the industry. Like if they had a conversation before the shutdown, then we could give some input. Like if they come to us with a problem, like, hey, what do we do, or how can we solve this? Like, tell us the problem.
Talk a little bit about, do you feel like maybe they're waiting? Oh, do you think they're waiting for the federal government to do something? I think yesterday somebody called it kind of a game of chicken. Like, okay, are they going to move? Are we going to move? Are they waiting for the federal government to do something?
That's a great point, and that is what that's what I'm super scared about, quite frankly, because if they do, and there is a package that is carved out right now for the small businesses and specifically the hospitality workers. Okay. However, it's like 120 million, I believe, if I was reading it right, and right now there's in a stalemate, between the two parties. I mean, for heavens forbid, we all just get together and do the right thing. But even if that gets passed, okay, this money isn't going to trickle into the pockets of the people that need it until probably February and maybe even March. So, and there was also a news article that said that the 10,000 bars, this is national numbers, 10,000 bars or restaurants will shut down in the next 17 days. So every 17 days right now, 10,000 bars and restaurants are shutting down. My point is, bring that back to good old Utah, and we don't have those kind of numbers, obviously. However, Dave and I know firsthand, and of course we're not going to call them out, but we know firsthand multiple bars and restaurants that just flat aren't going to make it through this. They've already had a hard enough time getting shut down in March and then being able to reopen in May, but with extra expense of making sure that they adhere to the guidelines and so on and so forth. And that's something else that I think people forget. We've invested a lot of extra money with a down with having less people allowed into our establishments. We've invested thousands and thousands of dollars in hiring more staff to ensure that everything's wiped down in between guests, making sure that everybody's taken care of and keeping social distancing, keeping their masks on, the extra money that we and cleaning supplies that we've had to do. We've invested all of this extra money for half the people to come into our establishments. So we have already suffered the impact. And now to have this happen where they're going to lose all that between 10 and 1 a.m., they're not going to make it.
It's too much.
Well, and I've read, and I'm sure you'll get comments from the public about, I've heard the greedy bar owners, and they're just not, they're not making enough money. It's not about the money we're making. It's mitigating the losses that we're, like, none of us are making any money. We're all losing money. I have to make that super clear. I do not know of a bar owner who is making money right now. So all the Karens who are going to attack the evil bar owners or whatever, we're not making money. So, and really, we're more concerned at this point right now. I don't want to lose my staff. I love my staff. I want to take care of my staff. But I didn't shut us down at 10. It wasn't my...
Well, talk a little bit. Talk a little bit about, because I think people maybe who don't drink for whatever reason don't understand how bars and restaurants drive other parts of the economy, right? I think mostly tourism, but housing, luring businesses. I mean, talk a little bit about, why it's important maybe to save this industry and not just let it die. Either one of you.
I'll take that for a minute, and then Dave can add on the more experience and more intelligent comments. But you know, here's Dave started to touch on this just a second ago. You know, there's so many tentacles that come from our establishments. So let me just run down a few. First of all, we collect a substantial amount of sales tax. Okay, so I have a spreadsheet that's been keeping track of what we did the 3 months prior to the shutdown, and so during it's post COVID, but here's real numbers, and now here we are during this shutdown, this mandate that he's got. So right now you have sales tax, which is a substantial amount of sales tax that we generate for the state of Utah. I mean, this is huge money. Then you also have the payroll and employment taxes that we pay. Then you also have other things like security. We have security that we hire. Some are in-house, some are outsourced. So you have a security company. Again, payroll taxes, so on and so forth.
We've lost the live stream. So she says, pause for just a minute while we're getting that back on. Oh, yeah, I don't know. Technology.
Yeah, we noticed that for whatever reason it stopped going live. So Sarah jumped in.
Herbert. Herbert, he shut us down.
Maybe.
Although I still have a little live green button right here on my computer. It's live in Crowdcast, but on Facebook it stopped for some reason. That's odd. I'm pretty sure I checked all the correct boxes when setting up this stream. So let's see what's going on. Oop. My phone. Okay. Well, it was going great until that.
Give you something to look at while we're getting this handled, right?
Hey,
that's nice.
Hey, what court did you file that lawsuit in, Kurt, while we're just breaking here so I can look that up?
It's the 3rd district, and let me get it here.
And how many bars are on it?
You know, this is a great comment that I actually was going to bring up so there's over 35 bar owners that want to be part of this. When they realized that they had to pay, so many of them didn't even have $400 or $500 to chip in for the lawsuit because they're that broke. I mean, so there's only I think we have like 14 that are actually on it.
Okay.
And it's super sad though. I was like, oh gosh, to hear that, you know,
it makes me sick.
Yep.
You guys can't really wait till the end of the year, right? I mean, I'll ask this when we're live again, but you can't really wait until the end of the year we'll just wait and see what happens. Like,
yeah, 3rd district court.
Okay.
And it's Kirk Ship et al. Versus Herbie Lovebug.
Okay.
I thought my attorney was joking about that, but I think she's serious. She filed it saying versus Herbie Lovebug.
Who's your attorney?
Janelle Bauer with Jones Waldo. It's actually the state of Utah. It's versus because we can't sue Herbert individually. Yeah.
Okay.
I can send you a copy of the lawsuit right now if you want.
Oh, yeah. Kathy S. at sltrib.com.
Okay, still working on getting this back up, guys.
Kirk, did you hear about there's a meeting at Club 90 today at 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
I'll take notes.
So Janelle, I talked to Rachel and told her that Janelle can be available by phone. So they're going to get her on speaker as well so that she can offer any legal advice. I know Rachel already has a corporate attorney or something coming in. So.
Okay. Is this different than the lawsuit, the Club 90 1 p.m. meeting, or is it just?
It's from my understanding so Rachel and Jesse own Club 90,
Club 90.
and they have some people that have gotten together trying to look at some other options that we might have and how we can all band together and so they're inviting a bunch of people over there around 1 o'clock to bar owners, restaurant owners, people that can get together and collaborate to mainly try to find things that we can do to try to get through this, since I didn't finish watching the press conference because this started. So I don't know if anything, did you watch the rest of the press conference? Did you watch the rest of the press conference? Oh, it's still going?
Yeah.
Have they brought up the lawsuit? Okay. So my business partner's here watching it, and there's Greg.
Hey, Greg. They'll say something like, "We can't comment on pending litigation." That's what they always say.
Yeah, exactly.
We are unable to comment on pending litigation.
Well, then on the other side of it, we have the Salt Lake Area Restaurant Association, Utah Hospitality Association. We have a lobbyist who is working his butt off, but he can't get into the governor. So he's just kind of talking legislators, and legislators. We've got a few on board who are like, yeah, we support getting rid of the 10 p.m. curfew thing. But they're not the ones that did it. So, I mean, we could just, we're putting pressure from one side, pressure from the other side. Maybe we can get something going. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's just, well, even our mayors, even our mayors, Salt Lake County and Salt Lake City, they think that some things can change. And obviously I can't speak directly for them because they probably don't want to get in a fight with our governor, but because it's a state of emergency, they have absolutely zero say in what happens. And, and it would be much better if this did happen by, city or county rather than as a state mandate. And then, well, I guess the one change he did do is people that are in moderate areas actually can now stay open past 10. He did say that in the last mandate.
But most of the state is in high, right? So moderate is, I don't know, Paiute County. I'm not even sure where that is. Right? It's like 95.
Is there a bar? Is there a restaurant there?
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say. There's not a restaurant.
I think that every county, I think at least 28 of the 29 counties are in high restrictions. Maybe less, but I just think most of them are in the high restriction area. So, yeah.
Well, if you look at,
which clearly shows. Sorry, Dave. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was. This might be going a different direction, but you look at the liquor sales. Liquor sales are not down. People are still drinking. Like they're not going to stop drinking. So either they drink at one of our places, which is great, which drives the economy, which is feeds people and wipes things down and sanitizes things, or they're going to drink at people's houses. So to shut us down through New Year's Eve, people are still going to party their butts off on New Year's Eve.
I hadn't even thought about New Year's Eve, right? Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, we do. And that's the thing too. Like, do we book entertainment? Do we throw a party?
Yeah.
My plan is right now to do a 10 p.m. countdown on New Year's Eve. Do like an East Coast, a New York New Year's Eve.
New York Eve.
Yeah. Oh. But then after they leave the bars and we kick them out at 10 o'clock, they're going to go right home and go to bed, do the responsible thing. No way. Yeah. And there is such. What Kirk mentioned earlier, about the speakeasies opening up, there's a need for people to get together, and that need is being met.
Yeah.
We were asked to act like restaurants in May, so you can open back up, but not as a bar. I haven't been a bar since March 15th.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I've been a restaurant since we opened back up.
Because you could do takeout, right? You can't do cocktails to go.
Well,
none of that.
At a bar, no, yeah, you can't. And that's not going to save us either. No. I don't sell. I'm not going to make money on cocktails to go or beer to go or food delivery that stuff doesn't feed babies and pay child support and all that stuff.
I know.
Now, did you hear that?
What about? So
I just got a text from my attorney, and she's saying that Herbert said that he's going to meet with the hospitality industry. I wonder who that is. It's probably going to be you guys, Dave, because he probably won't meet with me.
Okay.
I don't know when and if that's going to happen, but
okay.
Well, yeah, I have a feeling that he's not going to talk with me because I'm not part of or on the board of the big group. I'm part of, the Salt Lake Restaurant Association as of a couple of days ago, because Dave and I have finally got me put in there. But I'm sure Dave will be representing as well, and we'll have some other people. I would love to be there, because I think that this is such a huge impact on our industry. And, the other thing, going back to the tentacles, is, we employ a substantial amount of people in this industry. Okay. Dave was saying earlier, he has over 150 employees, just his bars. That doesn't, and there's so many different places, but you think about all the sales tax, or the employment taxes that we pay, but then what they are able to put back in the economy. I mean, they're putting rent, they're buying groceries, they're going out. I mean, this is impacting so many more things than just the bar or the bar owners. The bar owners are, we're not making money. I mean, with the extra money that we're having to spend to just keep things safe, we're not making much money. We're just doing it more to keep our employees employed because we have great teams. They're great people.
I think the service sector is the 4th largest industry in Utah, is what I'm hearing. So maybe talk a little bit about, there is a kind of a petition drive called Save Utah Jobs. And I think people can go online and kind of sign the petition and kind of support you. What are some other ways maybe people can support the bars?
I do have to shout out to all of our regulars who have been coming out. All of the people who have been, if they're too scared to come out, they're ordering DoorDash or they're taking pickup or whatever. But the ones that are coming out, they're taking such good care of our servers. They've been tipping. Like, I've looked at our tip percentages, and even though our sales are way down, but our tip percentage is way up. So people understand the plight that the service industry is in, and they understand tipped employees, and they're the ones bearing the brunt of this closure. Those guys, more than anybody else. Most bar owners, we like work on a monthly basis or a quarterly basis, and in Utah, one of your employees can do something stupid and get you shut down for a month or 45 days. And so we're all kind of prepared for this disaster, for nothing like this ever came in. But our tipped employees, the money they make on Saturday is to pay the bills that they have to do on Monday. I mean, they're notorious for, like, they get that cash on Saturday night to pay the bills that are coming up. They're not big planners. I love them, but they're not the greatest planners.
Well, they're like a lot of people, they're living paycheck to paycheck. So when the paycheck goes down, right, then that's a struggle. Hey, we have a paycheck.
It's not even paycheck to paycheck for them, is what I'm saying is their paychecks are like $30 because most of their paycheck goes to taxes to pay their tips, but they walk away with the tips every night. So they're really working day to day. Yeah.
Well, we do have a comment from a reader, and I think it's kind of more, do you feel singled out? Linda says, stupidest decision ever, considering people are packing the stores for Christmas shopping. The virus doesn't come out after 10 p.m. So, I mean, do you feel like you're kind of singled out?
It doesn't come out past 10? I always tell everybody, hey, at 10:01, you cannot drink or you're going to get the COVID.
I mean, do you feel like you're singled out and you're such a big, like if you're the 4th biggest industry, are you being kind of singled out?
Well, you know, Linda makes a big point here, and that the amount of people that are packing into malls, that are packing into these big box stores, and you know, that's all fine and dandy, you know, that and they don't take anywhere near the precautions that we take to keep the people coming into our establishment safe. I mean, it's not even close what they do. I mean, if somebody sits at a table, and the second they leave, we sanitize and chemical that down so that if there was anything on there, it's going to be gone with like that. But not in any of these big stores and malls and so on and so forth. So I don't know if I can't figure out. I don't know if we are being picked on. But I definitely can't understand when the CDC has given us the requirements we need to uphold to stay open, and we follow them and even add to them, and yet then they tell us that the CDC must be wrong. Why aren't they saying that? Because if they're saying we need to shut down at 10 o'clock, that means what the CDC told us we need to do to be safe and be open, that means they're wrong, which clearly they're not. So who knows? Maybe we are getting picked on. It's Dave's fault. Because we've got Dustin over here saying that Dave rocks.
Dave rocks. Okay. Dustin is a fan. Dave rocks. Okay. Well, I think anything else you want to leave with?
They are singling this industry out.
Okay.
I was just going to add to that.
Go ahead.
We are being singled out. This is, I mean, it's targeted directly to the heart of bars. It doesn't really affect restaurants even. It's bars. It's your fault. It's your fault. Like, that's what they're telling us bars. Like, the reason this is going up, it's your fault. Finally, he tells everybody wear masks. Great. That's scientifically proven. Wear masks, right? We've been doing it. But you're also at fault, so we're going to shut you down at 10. So it's our fault.
Yeah.
But you feel like the numbers don't lie, right?
That was the message.
Yep. I like it. Well, I think
the numbers don't lie, and I know you're trying to shut us down, and I'm just going to make this comment one more time. Okay. The cases have been substantially higher since they put this in place. First of all. Second of all, deaths are substantially higher. Now, obviously, they thought, okay, it's going to take a couple of weeks of this shutdown to see if there's improvement. There's not. Our numbers are still substantially higher from the day that we started that they put this mandate in place on November 8th. And then the other part is, okay, unemployment up 35%. This last week is up 35%. Okay, this is what Herbert's doing. This is what they're doing to us right now. Is they are taking this part that they don't realize is such a strong part of the economy, like you said, the fourth largest industry in Utah, and they're crumbling it. They are crumbling it.
Okay. That's all the time we have today. Kirk and Dave, thank you for being patient and spending time with us. And thank you to the readers and listeners for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Thanks.